right, hello everyone. We are here in the latest edition of the Well-Crafted Debate, and we're joined today by two top agents that know how to use video and also are top agents within Brown Harris Stevens. We have Laurie Meyer from our Greenwich office and Roberto Cabrera from our West Side office on Broadway. So hello everyone. How's everything going?
Very well, thanks. How you doing?
Not bad. You ready to go at it?
You ready, Laurie?
I'm ready. Here. Let's go. Bring it.
All right, let's just get right to it. We're going to question one. And the first question is, I know if you were a commuter and you have those choices of going to living in the suburbs or living in the city, would I rather city life with no commute, or would I rather that Greenwich living with only a 40-minute commute, which I found that out the other day, and I'm like, wow, that is a better commute than some people in Brooklyn going to Midtown. So let me see. Let's start with you, Roberto. What would you say?
Oh, hands down, no commute. New York, it's like the entertainment highway. You're off work or you're coming home, or we're always working. So, you can always go to entertainment. You can come home. You can relax while Laurie's driving back to Greenwich. I'm just sitting happy as could be. We're just people watching. It's the best. Nothing like it.
All right, Roberto, you good answer. Laurie, what would you say?
Okay, well, I've got to say this again. So, Roberto, I've lived in Manhattan, I've lived in Brooklyn, I've lived in New Jersey, I've lived on Long Island, and now I live in Connecticut. And I would say Greenwich, hands down. It is my favorite place. We have a great lifestyle here. The commute's very easy, especially if you work Midtown. You get off the train at Grand Central and your steps from your office, most likely. Whenever I go into the city, I usually end up walking to wherever I am meeting people. And then we've got water and we've got beautiful landscape and beautiful things to do and great restaurants. It's a great place to live.
Well, you both gave great answers, but I'm unfortunately biased, and I'm making the choice of who's here. And I'm a commuter coming from the suburbs, so I'm going to have to give Laurie the first one. So 1-0 Laurie going into the second question. And our second question centers around two of the best streets to do shopping in Northeast, if not America. And that's Greenwich Avenue and Fifth Avenue. What is the best shopping avenue? Laurie, we'll start with you.
Well, I do like both of them. I think there's definitely a feeling and a buzz that you get when you're in the city on Fifth Avenue. But Greenwich Avenue has very high-end shops, a lot of the same stores that you will find on Fifth Avenue in New York. And the nice thing is you get a personal touch because they're all a little bit smaller. You can walk in and get that one-on-one attention and help if you're really looking for something special. And you get the service, and that's what I like. Roberto,
your answer?
Fifth Avenue. It's Fifth Avenue. Imagine walking from Saks Fifth Avenue by the Rockefeller Center, walking up Fifth Avenue and shopping at the enormous variety of everything you have. And when I'm shopping, I don't want anybody to know who I am. And if you're in Greenwich, they're going to tell you, we don't have it in this store, we do have it in our New York store. So I would get it all, and I would walk all the way up to Bergdorf's Men across the street, down 57, take care of my wife at either YSL, Chanel, Dior, a big huge Dior store is coming, maybe take a left, go up Madison. There's nothing like it. And if you get a car, we talked about this, if you get a car, just follow you around. You can take those big bags, you give it to the guy in the car, and your hands free. A little more shopping.
Okay, well, I got to chime in here because we have Saks Fifth Avenue and we have all the little satellite Saks. So there's a men's Saks, there's Saks shoes, there's even Saks jewelry. And then we have Hermès and we have Tiffany's and we have all the other high-end stores. And one of the other nice little things that we have, Roberto, if I'm shopping, and let's say I have a whole bunch of stuff, they'll collect it for me and even bring it out to my car. So I don't have to carry anything either.
You make a great point, but out of all those Saks, they're not called Saks Greenwich Avenue, they're called Saks Fifth Avenue. We're going to give the points to Roberto. We're tied at 1. Next question, we're going to talk about two of the best fine dining, or even just dining in general, towns, cities in America are Greenwich and New York City. What is your best dining experience in your neighborhood or town? Roberto, we'll start with you.
In my particular neighborhood, which I absolutely love, I live on the Upper West Side on Columbus Avenue, and from the Natural History Museum down to Lincoln Center is like a village in itself. It's like a little Southampton village. I call it the Upper West Side Village. I mean, you're close to the park, you're close to everything else. And along here, along this corridor, there's so many amazing restaurants. Recently, there's a restaurant, Friend of a Farmer, that came in, which I absolutely love. It's, farm to table. It's absolutely amazing. It's warm, it's small, it's intimate. There's also, we are getting Mermaid Inn coming in. We have Parla that just opened. We have Ribbon for a burger. It's just really, it's very, very, in a place that's so metropolitan and so big, it is yet intimate in that sense. So that's what I love.
You gave a lot of options there for us to dine in, Roberto. Thank you. Laurie, how about you?
We have really excellent, outstanding choices here. We're so lucky. But my favorite is there's an owner who owns a family of restaurants, and their newest one is called Siren, and it's actually in Old Greenwich. It has a great feel, great vibe. They've got fresh seafood. And a tapas menu, which is really fun. I've been there for birthday parties. I took some clients there a couple of weeks ago, and we had a great time because everybody could pick a few different things and taste a whole bunch of stuff that was all very unique. And they have the best service. It's just great. Really good place.
Great value in both of your answers. You both deserve a point. We're tied at 2. Next question. You have those 2 incredible walks. It's the walk along Long Island Sound in Greenwich along that waterfront, or Central Park itself. Laurie, which one would you say is a better walk?
I've got to say, out here by the water, there's nothing like it. Todd's Point is where I typically go for runs and walks, and it's about roughly 3 miles the loop. With water surrounding you the entire time. And I have been there at sunrise, at sunset. I've been there on cold, wintry, icy days, when it's snowing, when it's raining, in the fall when there's leaves and foliage around you. And it is just stunning no matter what day or time it is. Even in the rain, it's still beautiful. You have the reflection of everything hitting the water, and we have views of Long Island, and yes, we have views of Manhattan.
All right, great answer.
What was that?
Yeah, I know, Rob. I know. Views of Manhattan. And I noticed that when you were talking about your little strip in your neighborhood, you likened it to Southampton?
I did. I have, yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
well.
Really nice.
And Roberto, you were getting to something, Manhattan, a view of Manhattan. What is your answer?
Central Park, no question about it. I walk through there every day with my daughter to take her to school. It is so beautiful at every season. You can also, it's varied in what you can experience because you can take so many different paths. There's so many different spots in the park, from the Ramble to Sheep's Meadow. There's so much to see, and there's so much variety, and it's extremely romantic. And you have the city that's just lining all of that acreage. It's like an oasis.
All right, for that answer, I think there's not another park in the world like Central Park. There are other walks, beautiful, don't get me wrong, of the Sound. We're gonna have to give that point to Roberto. Roberto is up by 1. Going into the next question. I'm sorry, Laurie, I'm sorry. Next question, better neighbor, and it would be the notorious neighbor that used to live in Greenwich, Alice Cooper, or New York City, a neighbor in Sting. Which would be the better neighbor? Roberto, we'll start with you.
Well, I actually helped Mark Friedman sell Sting's apartment at 88 Central Park West years ago. But we never really see him, and now he's moved to 220 Central Park South. He's not really an Upper West Sider. I would say the best neighbor is Steven Spielberg, living at the San Remo, running into him, walking his dog, talking a little Jaws. He's the best.
Okay, Laurie, who would you say?
You know what? I would have to pick Sting over Alice Cooper. As much as I like School's Out for Summer, I think that he may not be the best person to live next door to. And I think I would actually pick Harry Connick Jr. because he lives out here too.
Okay.
There you go.
I like Harry.
All right, for that purpose, Roberto just said he liked Harry. We're going to give Laurie those points for
That's
that
fair.
purpose. All right, so Laurie gets the points. We're going to go into the next question now, and the next question is going to be centering around what is the better investment over the course of the next 20 years? Are we looking at the stately Greenwich Colonial, or are we looking at the Upper East Side or Upper West Side in Roberto's case, townhouse? Laurie, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with the stately Colonial in Greenwich. I mean, they are always desirable. And there are pockets of Greenwich where it's more desirable than others. You know, for instance, being in the Golden Triangle, where you're close to all the amenities, all the schools, everything that you need to get to. If it's one of those turn of the century, like the 1920s big colonials, those are always desirable. Even if they're in disrepair and they need some work, people want those. In terms of just straight numbers, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't follow or don't know enough about the Upper East Side market and the townhouses there, but my guess is in terms of straight numbers, maybe that will yield a better return over the last 20 years.
Roberto, what would you say?
I would say the townhouses will probably yield more, primarily because of scarcity, more than anything else. But they're extraordinary, and they're just very singular. You get some of these houses, they're 25 feet wide, 10,000 square feet. You have a roof terrace, you have a garden, everybody has their own rooms and their own, you have an elevator, you have just everything you can possibly need right within such close proximity to Central Park, which we just spoke about. And then if you just go, you're right here. And I've always said it's beachfront property. I think that it's just an amazing investment.
I mean, I would agree. I think you look historically, the previous 20 years, you're probably looking at an Upper East Side townhouse getting you a little bit better return. For that reason, we're going to give that answer to Roberto. Roberto, you were up.
Oh, that's not fair.
I'm bored. Come on. You still got a couple left. You have a chance to come back. So in a short form answer, I want you to rank in the eye of a New Yorker. What are the top, what are in the order of 1 to 3 in ranking these 3 amenities? Now, this is an actual study, a recent study that came out last year. What is the most important amenity out of these 3 in an order of 1 to 3? Let's go in-unit laundry, private outdoor space, and doorman. Let's start with you, Laurie.
Well, if I was a New Yorker living in the city, I would probably say that I want to have the in-unit laundry. And then I've always liked outdoor space, maybe a little balcony, and then the doorman. But if they're coming out here, New Yorkers coming out here to Greenwich, outdoor space is always top priority, no doubt.
Okay, Roberto, you have some experience in this area.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience, I don't know what your survey says, but I would say that the washer dryer is absolutely the most important and affects you on such a daily basis, especially if you have children, etc. That's the best luxury there is. That's the pièce de résistance. And then you would go with a doorman and then the outdoor space, because not all outdoor space is made the same, and it's outside is this is your outdoor space. But if you're going to see Laurie, you're going to see Laurie because you want acreage
outdoor
and you
space.
want pools and everything else.
Yes,
so right.
Correct.
Well, we were in the eyes of the New Yorker. Roberto, you got it. You got it perfect. We're going to give you a point for that one. So, Roberto, you were up 2 with 2 questions to go. So we got to be perfect here, Laurie.
Okay.
Next question: what is the one factor you need changed to improve your market in your area? What is that one, Roberto?
Interest rates, for sure. There are so many different factors, but that is the absolute elephant in the room that is affecting everybody, and a lot of it is psychological, because what really affects the market more than anything is competition. That's the biggest factor that affects your success in a marketplace, whether you're buying or you're selling. But right now, it's in their psychology, it's the interest rates that's really just holding them back.
Laurie, what is your factor?
Our biggest factor right now is inventory. We literally have no inventory. I was just in a bidding war last night. I think there were 8 offers, and this was a dilapidated house. I can't believe my people were willing to go over ask, and they still didn't get it. So that is the biggest factor, but that is definitely tied into interest rates, because the cycle, the empty nesters who should be selling and moving into something else, have concerns about where are they going to go, and giving up perhaps a 2 or 3% mortgage and not knowing, having to go into something at 7%, and they don't want to do that.
Well, I agree with you. Both of the factors are the most important in your market. You each get a point. That does clinch Roberto as the victor, up 2 with 1 to go. But we will play the last question. He might lose a point here. We don't know. And you might gain a point. We don't know. It might happen. Better college basketball team this year, the UConn Huskies, who are the defending champs, who represent Connecticut, or the improved St. John's Red Storm, who have a new coach, Rick Pitino. They're on the right direction. Who would we say is the better team? Roberto, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, UConn is definitely the better team. St. John's, as Greg Heim will be really upset, is still a rebuilding year. So, Maryland.
Maryland. All right, Maryland's your answer. What would we say, Laurie? Who is the better team out of those two?
Villanova.
Villanova.
Yeah, the Villanova New York Knicks. That's the better team. I will say UConn. I have to give it to UConn. And, I like both teams. They're Big East teams. So that's what I'm partial to. But I got to say Villanova. That's my alma mater. And the Knicks have got a lot of our players, and that makes me really happy.
I know you got Brunson, Hart, the big Ragu. You got Malik Bridges on the
awesome.
other end.
It's
in the
so much
borough.
fun.
Villanova is all over the place in professional basketball, New York Metro. For that reason, Laurie, you will get the bonus point for that.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, though, Roberto, you did take this one today by 1 point. Congratulations, Roberto. You are the victor of this well-crafted debate.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
I
Laurie,
want a rematch.
for taking it easy on me.
Rematch.
Well, I know both of you are very busy. I want to thank you both for taking the time out and any last words?
Thanks for having us. This was a lot of fun, but seriously, a rematch.
In person.
I would do that.
All right, guys, take care.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Thanks so much.
Bye, Laurie.
Bye-bye.